What's up, everyone? We are going to do a live unboxing of the brand new ATEM Mini Extreme. A few things to note before we get started. This is on loan from Blackmagic. They sent me a review unit. I'm reviewing this for Filmmaker Magazine, so you can check out the write-up later. And I'm also going to be doing a video review here on this channel, so be sure to subscribe. Also, I'm just going to be unboxing it, but if you want to know all about all the brand new features in the ATEM Mini Extreme and the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, be sure to check out my other video where I did a full breakdown of everything new in the ATEM. So let's get into it. So obviously, if you're familiar with any Blackmagic products, this is a huge design change from the box that they usually come in. I have the ATEM Mini Pro box that I purchased before. Pretty much every Blackmagic product comes in here. I've got the brand new, Pro Presenter HD that I'm also going to be reviewing. That came in the same kind of style box, but this is huge. Not only is this a huge device, this is a huge difference. Blackmagic has found red. All right, let's open it up. All right, and let's open it up. So we got the usual booklets and a little paper notice telling you that they stopped shipping out SD cards because it's a huge waste. Custom fit styrofoam, and look at that, we've got the ATEM Mini Extreme. The huge board. All right, let's pop this thing out. All right, it's definitely, I remember when I first got the Pro and I'm like, oh, this feels a lot heftier than I thought. This definitely feels like what I expected it to think. It's hefty, but you'd expect it to feel heavier because it's obviously like almost twice as long. So let's pop that down here. I don't think there's going to be anything. Yeah, nothing under this padding. And then we've got a convenient little box that probably has power adapters for every single country because that's how Blackmagic rolls. Get the US plug on here. This is a heftier, I'm not sure what the exact spec difference is, but it definitely feels like a much bigger power box than came with the ATEM Mini Pro. Pop that on. I got some power back here. Gotta save this to ship it back. All right, let's put this to the side. And let me get some power in here. All right, so the nice thing about this that they talked about is it's got, you can actually screw the power plug onto it. So, a lot more secure for power. And let me flip this around so we can see it's already lighting up, lit up. All right, so let's run through all of the kind of button features. So we've got our 8 inputs and sources, so obviously twice as many as the previous ATEMs. This stuff came updated on the Pro, so we got cut, auto. So auto would be if you want to use a transition and you're transitioning between different shots. And then FTB, which is fade to black. So if you just need to kind of kill your transmission quickly and easily, you just hit that, it'll fade down to black and go out of your sources. And it tells you that you're on fade to black, and then you hit it and it's off again. Obviously, this will make more sense when you're connected to a bunch of sources in a monitor. That's going to be in a future video, a whole rundown. Right now, I'm just going to run through all the buttons and kind of walk you through everything it's got here. Okay, and then so this row is pretty much similar to what was on here previously. This is your audio control. So if you turn the audio source on, audio levels, AFV, which is audio follows video. So if you switch sources, it'll just turn on the mic for that one as long as that camera's on. This row is new. And so I've got also, they loaned me a older Pocket Cinema camera 4K. So if you connect any of the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema cameras, you're always able to previously control the camera via HDMI. They released that update in the ATEM Mini Pro, but you had to do it through the software. Like you had to connect to a computer and do it through the ATEM software control. Now they have buttons on here directly where you can control the gain, focus, the black levels, and the shutter, so your exposure. And you can just hit these up and down arrows. So I'm also going to test that out in the future review. And then now there are are always two mic inputs, so these are the usual, but now they have a headphone port, so you can monitor your audio on here and you can control your headphone monitoring levels. Moving across the board and hidden sources. Oh, we've got buttons. So now there are two media pools. So media pool can store 20 images and it saves it on here. Someone in the comments did correct me. I said that this was the first time you could save, that it wouldn't reset and clear out the media pool. But someone in the comments corrected me that there was an update to the ATEM Mini Pro that prevented doing that. So you could, as long as your ATEM is up to date, it'll save it. But anyways, this has two media pools. You can access media pool 1, media pool 2 here. And also you can pre-select a color in the software and cut to the color, or you can cut to black. So these are extra sources. Across the screen, we've got picture-in-picture. So this was a huge update, and this is what one of the things I'm most excited about with the possibility of what this can do. So before you only had one DVE in the ATEM Mini Pro, so DVE, digital video effect. That basically means you could take one source and do some effects to it, effect being shrinking it, moving it around, repositioning it, layering it on top of another thing. So you're gonna do that on one source. So you really, the only thing you could do is like a picture-in-picture where you had one video screen and then a little video screen on the bottom, say like you're doing a screen review, a software tutorial, and you had your computer screen as one source and your webcam or video as another source. This unlocks two DVEs plus the super source, which is Blackmagic's feature where it has up to 4 DVEs. So in a sense, you have 6 DVEs, which means you can take 6 video sources, reposition them all around, and then layer them on top of other stuff. So anyways, going back to this picture-in-picture button, these are presets for commonly used digital video effects or commonly used layouts. So if you want to put your one video in one of the corners, or if you want to do a split screen and have two picture-in-picture two video effects on top of two video screens on top of another background, this is where you could quickly do that. But I believe, and I'll confirm this, if you go in the settings, you can customize the layout to however you want. These are just some easy to access shortcuts. Over here we have, this was on the Pro, you have the duration for your transition. So right now it's set to 1 second, but you can do anywhere from half a second to 2 seconds. Moving up, we've got the macro buttons. So these are kind of like stacked shortcuts. So if you hit one, well, they're not set. You'd have to set it up in the software, but basically, if you wanted to do a bunch of things like reposition some videos and mix in a bunch of sources, instead of having to manually do that and hitting the buttons each time, you can set macro or shortcut buttons where you hit one button and it executes a whole list of things instantly. And so it's basically shortcuts for creating more complicated shots. And I'll do a dive into that because I'm also not 100% familiar with it of how it works because I've never used it before. Then we have our effects list. So this was on the original one, but now there's a lot more transition effects and you can have access to shortcuts here to control them. And then our video output. So I'll go to the back in a second, but this is to control what comes out of your HDMI 1. So normally have your program output, you can switch it to MV, which is your multiview. So that's where you'd have all 8 screens up and your source and preview monitor. So that's if you're more of the behind the scenes person, you'd want to see that one. If you're sending this feed out to like a projector or something, you'd want the program output. And then you can independently choose any of the 8 sources as their own output source. And it has clean and PVW. So I'm actually not entirely sure what those are. I will find out. And you have 2 HDMI outputs here. And I know you can have all the same control of the second HDMI output, but that one you have to control via software. You can't, there's no shortcut for HDMI 2. Moving up to the top here. So up here, this is where you would route your super source or your DVE or your picture-in-picture stuff. This is where you kind of route which sources are going to what. I'm gonna have to dive into this because honestly, I don't fully know how all these buttons work. And then I know you do have a couple other options. I mean, so here we can see, so I'm actually not even sure what K1 LUM. I gotta dive into what these are. We got DSK1, DSK2. So those are downstream keys. So that's something that appears on top of your output, no matter what your output, no matter what source your changes to. So like think of like a logo, if you had like a lower third that you wanted to stay up despite like switching between camera angles, downstream key is going to be on your output no matter what your source is. So we've got some dips and wipes. So these are some other transitions, stinger transitions. So these are also really cool transition effects you normally see in a higher level production broadcast control up in here. And so logo and that stuff would be stuff that you would pull from your media pool. We've got some couple color options. And this is also where you control the chroma key. Oh, that's probably what the K is, even though chroma key is with a C. I'll find out. But the other awesome thing about this is it has 4 chroma keyers, or independent chroma keyers. So you can chroma key out 4 different sources and layer them on top of still images or your other 4 sources. A high-end use case of this was the possibility of virtual sets. I'm sure there's ways, it's a little beyond my scope, I'm sure there's ways you could connect it to something like Unreal Engine and have virtual sets that also move in real time with the camera. But even a lower end one, if you just have static shots and your virtual set is pre-positioned to your camera positions and your camera isn't moving, still a very cool and easy way to comp out, have 4 live camera shots, each shot on a green screen, and then those can be comped in to a virtual set or something else with your 4 shots. Before, you could only do 1 shot on the ATEM Mini Pro. Now you can do 4. Moving across, so we got bars, black. So that's just kind of putting the output with bars or black. And then here are key options. So if you want to key 1 on or off, downstream key on or off, and then the output controls. So if you are turning recording on or off and you're streaming on or off. And the kind of specific settings and stuff you'd have to set up in the ATEM software. Whatever you have preset, turning it on and off will just automatically do that. So let's hop over to the back. So back, so we've obviously got our 8 HDMI ports, and nicely the numbers do match up with what you'd see on each source, so it's not like it's reversed or anything. We've got our mic 1 and mic 2 and our headphone port. And then moving over here, we've got HDMI 1 out, HDMI 1 out, HDMI 2 out, and then 2 USB ports. This is also a new update and extremely handy. You can plug one into your computer directly. You can use this still as a webcam, a super decked out webcam. You could also connect it directly to a hard drive and then record your program output directly to your hard drive. And that's what the record setting up on the front would start and stop. Obviously, the main difference between this and the ISO model, the ISO model will record every independent stream as its own video recording stream. With the regular model, you're just recording whatever your final mixed output is. Oh yeah, and then of course we've got the Ethernet port, which you can either plug this into your network and control on your computer, or also you can stream out via internet over the Ethernet port. And the other cool update, you can also plug your phone directly into one of the USB ports and use internet tethering as a data backup for streaming. So if your internet were to cut out, this could automatically switch to your cellular network and keep your stream going that way. Yeah, so I think that was a thorough run through of all the buttons. So yeah, I'm going to be hooking this up, playing around with it, trying out the features. I'm most particularly interested in the extra DVEs, the super source, and the chroma key abilities, and how you can kind of turn this into an extremely powerful and robust broadcast level system. And something that this unit is just under $1,000. If you have any kind of specific use cases or features or questions that you've got, if you're watching this video now and I haven't released the other video yet, please leave your questions or things you'd like to see in the comments below, and I'll try to get to it in the review. Thanks for watching. Obviously, be sure to subscribe if you want to find out the full review of this video. I'm also doing an unboxing and another review of the additionally new hardware, their updated Blackmagic Web Presenter Pro HD. I think that's the full name. There is no Pro. There's no Pro. It's just Web Presenter HD. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.